All right, thank you so much, Mariam, for that background feature on the International Day of Peace. And like I mentioned earlier, we'll be having some very interesting guests on the show, and it's time for us to meet our very first guest. She's a speaker, I call her an erudite, seasoned erudite speaker. She's an all round person, she's an advocate for peace. She's the founder and CEO of Love at the World, or
Love to the
Love to
world.
the World initiative. And she's a writer, a singer. Wow, she does so many things. And she's here on the set of Your Weekend to tell us more about this International Day of Peace. And I have with me Dr. Josephine Abraham. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
All right,
Thank you.
for joining us.
Thank you
So,
for having me.
how do you juggle all these things that, you're a writer, you're a singer, motivational speaker, an advocate for peace ambassador too? Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
They just gave you an award for peace ambassador
Yes,
recently. So,
yeah.
congratulations.
Thank you
So,
very
how
much.
do you
Honestly, I almost don't sleep. I'm restless. And one of the things that drive me is the fact that I know that we all came into this world for a purpose, and you just must fulfill that purpose, and that's what's important. So if you're one that God has put so much inside of you for humanity, then
Yeah.
you just must churn it out somehow.
Exactly.
So I'm driven from inside out, and in fact, as much as it impacts the people around me, and even beyond where I can see, I go for it. So I almost don't sleep, but God helps me. Yeah.
All right. So, the International Day of Peace is on the 21st of September. That's when it's celebrated, worldwide. So, we just want to talk about peace, the International Day of Peace, the theme which is talking about actions for peace. What does it mean to you in terms of the UN initiative?
Well, it's simply just actually recognizing whatever makes for peace around us in every community, and actually taking practical steps to practical actions. Let's use your word, practical steps, both individually and corporately, for us to be able to achieve peace around us. Yeah. So I think that's simply that, and it's a collective thing.
All right. So, how do you see the hashtag global goals, playing a role in promoting peace worldwide? And could you give an example of specific goals that have a direct impact on peace building in Africa, or let's and then Africa at large? We know that there's a lot of unrest in Africa right now
Yes,
with
indeed.
Uganda,
Yes.
Gabon, and things like that.
Yes.
So, what impact?
Topmost of my mind is things to do with poverty alleviation, right? Because there's so much poverty, there's so much hunger. So if we can actually work on poverty alleviation programs, and then plus education as well, then I'm sure, some of those goals, if we're able to achieve those ones, we would have solved some of the problems halfway. Because talking about peace building and all of that, you have to have peace first before you can keep peace, right?
Yes.
You have to have it before you can keep it, right? So if we always just go for firefighting, now there's a problem, and so everybody runs quick, let's dispatch soldiers and all of that. You have to create peace, make peace, and then you can now maintain peace. Yeah. So, but if we're able to achieve this goal, if we're able to make sure that everybody is included somehow, that inclusiveness is critical.
Yes.
That everybody feels connected to the society. It's not good when you feel that sense of disconnect. You feel like you're not recognized, you're nobody. If you feel like you're nobody, you're already insecure.
Yeah.
And so there's so much insecurity inside of you. There's no way you can promote peace. Everything that will come from inside of you will be violence, because you feel like no one cares and you don't belong anywhere. So if we can work on inclusiveness,
Okay.
and then work on poverty alleviation and hunger. I guess if we're able to just meet some of those goals, we would have solved the problems halfway. It would impact world, especially here in Nigeria, where we are.
Okay, I know you have mentioned some key points like, poverty alleviation and all that. But what other, in your opinion, what other key actions can individuals take to contribute to peace within their communities and beyond?
Okay, starting from home, right? So the parents have a role to play, and neighbors in the neighborhood, everybody has a role to play in the community. I'll give you a simple example. Okay, here are two little boys, 2 years and 3 years old. Okay, the mother notices that the 2 year plus one is behaving a bit rebellious, kind of, and a bit unruly. And then she's wondering what's going on here. Why is this child like this? Do you know that I love you? And he says, I don't know. And the mom is shocked.
Yeah.
She's surprised. Why do you say that I don't love you? You think I don't love you? He said yes. What about daddy? Does daddy love you? Do you know that daddy loves you? He said, I don't know. So that's the root cause. He feels unloved. He feels uncared for. And so it was left for the mother to find out what to do to make this child feel like he belongs. And that means you're going to work extra hard to remove all of the impression that he has. Most of the people that create trouble, that create the violence in the society, they are people who feel like nobody cares.
Okay.
So even if you say you're going to send soldiers after them, they already feel dead, so they don't feel anything. They can kill me instead, But I'm going to teach you a lesson before you kill me. But these are people that if you're able to make them feel like they're part of the system, there's just, they all have potentials that they can bring to the table if you're able to really work. Really serious work, deliberate efforts. So every individual in the society has a role to play, as in, if you know what is good for you, just as simple as give someone a smile. Come on, see, I'm smiling at you, you're smiling back now, you see, and I'm seeing all your muscles relaxed, kind of. We're all feeling so cool. I walked in here this morning and I said, well done to all of you at NTA, the most motivated, self-motivated workers in the federal ministry. How did that make you feel?
Oh, it made me feel so nice.
Exactly, that was just a kind word. And there's just a long way it goes in helping you be the best that you can be, because somebody recognizes what you're doing. So just as simple as kindness, a smile to somebody, it just goes round. When I give you that kindness in the community, you already have it, right? So that's somebody else. If I give you annoyance, you have annoyance stuck inside of you. So this person gives you annoyance, this one gives you annoyance, You already have it stuck here. With every little opportunity, you will vent it on anything that looks like a perceived enemy or obstacle and things like that.
Very defensive.
So they feel like they're victims. They feel like they're victims in the society. So it's us versus them. So, but can we bring them in and make them belong? And I know what I'm talking about. Especially here in Nigeria, they know how to follow if you're really sincere. They know how to follow if you can work on them. I've been to communities where I ask local government councils to bring me, just nominate people who I can give life coaching to. And then they bring all the people that are rough, out for you. I actually look out for the most violent ones.
Wow.
And look for ways to dress them up and make them see another side of them that they have never seen before. Trust me, they turned out to be the most improved people.
Wow.
Some were even robbers. And they came to tell me that, I used to be a robber. But, with your life coaching, I saw a different side of life. So I'm just an individual. I'm not in government. I don't hold any position in government or anything.
Okay.
Everyone can do this. Just find someone around that needs you, and render that assistance, render that smile, just that kindness and stuff. There are simple things like salt in food. It's very, very, it's not tangible. salt is not tangible in the food, right? So you're making a list of things you need to use to cook that food. You don't even consider salt as anything. But try doing it without the salt.
Yeah.
It's not going to work. So that's how kindness is, just as simple as that. Everybody can contribute.
Thank you so much. Just before we go, because my director has already been giving me signs that it's time to go.
Great.
But I feel I need to ask you this question.
Yeah.
You know, as we celebrate the International Day of Peace,
Yeah.
you know, what advice or what message would you like to leave for our viewers out there about how to promote peace within our communities and beyond?
Okay, well, to every individual, we all have to first of all try to make peace with ourselves, within ourselves, and be reconciled with ourselves. Then also reconcile with God. Because if you have peace with God, you have peace from within. All right. So that whenever you have that difficulty, like we live in very difficult times right now worldwide, right, you refer it back to the maker, to your maker. Just like people who drive Mercedes will take you back to Mercedes workshop to be fixed. You have peace of mind that this one knows exactly the makeup and he knows how to resolve it. So that way you have peace. And then you can now contribute to peace. And then to government, I have this to say, right? We have enough resources, enough human resources in this country to go to every corner, starting from every local community. Maybe even like try to fund National Orientation Agency massively, because they do have workers in every local community and they live with the people, and get everyone involved in peace building efforts. We can actually go around the 36 states of the Federation to every local community. We have enough workers in the federal. Look out for anyone that's not so busy and send them to where they are needed, so that we can work on peace building. And most of what we're going to be doing is to provide psychological, something which I'll call value reorientation, so that people's mindset change. If the mindset of people don't change, there's nothing government is going to do that's going to work. From the local communities to the federal communities, nothing's going to work. So I think this is what we must do. We must be seen to make deliberate effort. We can't leave the place like this and allow it to just tear in pieces and not make deliberate efforts. And I think that's going to work if we try it.
All right, thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming on the show and talking about the International Day of Peace and how it could help our community, our nation, and the world at large. Thank you so much in your endeavors.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, and your weekend continues after this timeout. Enjoy.